Greetings, greetings, family. Sister Shanice in the house, and welcome to another Sister Shanice show. Yes, I am your host, and I am looking forward to having a really interesting conversation with you today. If you're joining me for the first time, welcome to the Sister Shanice show platform. I'm Sister Shanice, the host for this program that's been running for a number of years now. If you're new to the platform, please do go ahead and subscribe. I was born in the UK to Jamaican parents of African origin. Spent a lot of my time on the continent of Africa, absolutely enjoying my stay with my brothers and sisters here on the motherland. I'm a researcher, have a particular interest in our African history. And oh my gosh, what I have been uncovering about our history is just phenomenal. I'm a graduate of Dr. Winters's research program, and that's a research program that's actually designed to train up a whole new generation of African-centered researchers who are out there doing the research into our history and following on from doing that research, then going on to write books like the one that I've got on display here. And as well as writing books, submitting articles, scholarly pieces of work. And my gosh, Dr. Winters is just phenomenal. The way he's been teaching us, family, when we do our research, we are looking into our history from an archaeological, anthropological, linguistic, symbolic perspective. We have documented evidence of all of our sources. So, when you get this book, family, Hidden in the Shadows of Ancient Britain, an erased African history restored, when you get that book, you know that you are also going to be getting scholarly level academic work, okay? And it's all about our history, evidenced in that book. And some of you might say, well, I've heard all the history, there's nothing new. But did you know that as Africans, we've been in Britain for at least 44,000 years? There's at least 44,000 years of documented history of us as Africans in Britain. Yes, indeed. And if you are surprised by that, get my book, which is going to give you a huge amount of insight into the amount of history that we have in Britain. Did you know that even up to about 2,000 years ago, most of Britain was black? This is what the archaeological evidence is uncovering. And the reason why we know this more so today than we did previously, even though we've had the archaeological evidence for some time, is because the geneticists are on the scene as well now, and they have been doing the DNA scraping of some of these ancient skeleton remains that had these Caucasoid sort of images alongside them, only to discover that they are highly pigmented pieces of sorry, I've just had something happen in the background there. Yeah, only to uncover that these iconic skeleton remains that they have found actually belong to Black people because they were highly pigmented. Wow, wow, wow. Yes, we were the builders of Stonehenge. All the studies are proving it. Skeleton that remains that they found around the Stonehenge site were of melanated people. So this iconic Stone Age building structure that the Europeans have been claiming for a couple of hundred years is something that their ancestors built. It turns out that their ancestors didn't build it at all. It was our ancestors, our African ancestors, who were the ancient ones of Britain, that actually built the iconic Stonehenge. Yes, indeed. There is so much history, family, that has been hidden from us, that we really need to start uncovering for ourselves. Okay, let me grab the link and post it to myself in WhatsApp so that I can start sharing it with the family and friends so that you can tune in to this really interesting, exciting show that we're going to be having today, because I've got a couple of special guests who are backstage and are preparing to come live in a little while in the show. None other than Dr. Joe and Mama Nasira. They've been in the Gambia for 10 years. Yes, 10, almost a decade. But even though they've been here for 10 years, they've decided that they're going to be returning to San Francisco. Why? We're going to hear their story. So what we do know is that they left San Francisco about 10 years ago, headed for the Gambia, made Gambia their home, and they are an incredible couple that's been doing a phenomenal amount of work here in the Gambia. But now they're deciding to return. I mean, some of you are like, why would you want to return? Okay, but they're going to be sharing with us the lessons that they learned while they were here, some hard truths, some insights into living here in the Gambia, you know, their decision as well, what made them arrive at that decision. And if you're thinking of relocating or repatriating to the Gambia, this definitely is a show that you want to listen to, because, you know, experience, if you can learn from other people's experiences, then, you know, you will acquire so much wisdom. And so that's what we're sharing with you here today, the wisdom and the insights from a great couple who have been living here in the Gambia. Okay, I've got a little something. Oops, let's plug in. Yeah, let's plug that in from now so that doesn't go out on me. Right, I've got a little something that I'm going to bring to you while I prepare to share the link in the background. Okay, family? And it's from Sister Verna from Time to Succeed. And you know, she comes up with these really great gems, doesn't she? So I'm going to share the screen here so that you know, I can share this gem with you, because you know, when we come across some great sort of insights, it's really good to share it with family members and friends. So let me just prepare to share the screen here and check to make sure that it comes out okay. So let's go over to slideshow and let's go into the presenter view, and that should come up. Let me be checking on YouTube as well to make sure that it's come through okay. All right, so Sister Verna's Time to Succeed post came across my screen a couple of days ago, and I'm like, you know what, I've got to share this with the family. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to post today's link to Mama Nasira and Dr. Joe as well, so that they have it to share with their audience as well. So Sister Verna, in her recent post, pointed out that your thoughts actually shapes your reality. Your thoughts shape your reality. And then she asks the question, are yours supporting you? Are your thoughts supporting you? And that is just such a profound question, because, you know, when you dig deeper, you begin to realize the extent to which our thoughts actually do shape our reality. So she says that it's really important to choose your thoughts. Choose your thoughts. Why? Because your thoughts can change your emotions, and it's your emotions that will then change your actions, and your actions ultimately will change your life. So let's rewind on that for a little while. So just imagine, this is what came to mind when I read that about your thoughts. Imagine you want to do something major, yeah, but you're trembling in the knees and you feel like a rat caught in a trap. If your thoughts are going to be telling you that, you know, I can't do it, I'm like a rat in a trap, it's never going to happen, blah, 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 then your emotions is going to be one of fear, is it not? Your emotion is going to suggest to you that, you know, you can't do this. But if your thoughts are that you are like, you know, a lion, you know, on the plains, and you're chasing a gazelle, and you know you've got the power and the strength and the skills and the might to get that gazelle, you know that your emotions is going to be charged with energy. You're going to be going after that gazelle, aren't you? And you know in your mind, you've already made up in your mind that you're going to catch that which you have set your sights on. And so your thoughts are really, really important. And, you know, you've recently probably just set yourself some goals and objectives and aspirations for 2026. How are you feeling? Are you currently working towards those goals? And if so, you know, how successful are you at achieving these goals? Do you need some help and assistance? Are you feeling like that rat caught in a trap and need to change your mindset? Or are you rearing out there and charging towards them and already accomplishing and have made some successes? If the latter is you, absolutely fantastic. But if the former, you know, is like you, or if you feel that your thoughts are holding you back in any way, then what you need to do is get in touch with Coach Berna, and together she will help and assist you to actually transform your mindset. Okay, so transform your mindset, transform your thoughts, and it will transform your emotions. Transform your emotions, it will change your actions. Change your actions. By changing your actions, you will be changing your life. And she's created this 5-day WhatsApp Mindset Research Challenge. And so give it a try. It's for 5 days. What have you got to lose if it's going to help you to change your mindset, change your emotions, change your actions, which could ultimately change your life? And this is what, you know, we've all got to try and do. Be living a life where we're working towards accomplishing the goals that we've set ourselves. Living a life where we are fulfilling our purpose. Living a life in which we're confident to do that which we have been sent here to do. But, you know, confidence is something that grows. Not everybody has got a huge amount of confidence. And so, you know, some of us do need a bit of hand holding, a bit of support along the way. And the good news is that where there is support being offered, go for it, grab it, especially if it's some freebies as well. So you've got the opportunity to join the WhatsApp group. It starts on Monday the 26th. 5 powerful days that's going to be guiding you towards success, help you to be more aware of your thoughts, especially if they're holding you back, and how you can deal with eliminating limiting beliefs, building your confidence and changing your mindset. All sounds great to me. So I am going to be posting the link to that WhatsApp group in the chat. If you're interested, and you certainly should be interested, then I would suggest that you definitely take up that challenge, okay? And then let me know back here on the Sista Shanice show how that program was for you, okay? So let me just post the link in the chat. There it is. And I can see that Kev is in the house. Wonderful, wonderful to have you in the house, Kev. Great that you're there. I think that's Sister Sharon. She says, rise up, Sister Shanice and attendees. Thank you, Karen. Great to have you in the house all the way from the United Snakes of America. What a president you've got there. Oh my gosh. Oh my days. And she says, yes, you are a student of the great teacher and researcher. Yes, none other than Dr. Clyde Winters. We didn't get any notifications again. You know, I wrote to YouTube, and unsurprisingly, I haven't had a response from them. You know, I said to them, a lot of my followers are saying that they're not getting the notifications of when I go live, and they're not getting the notifications of my posts. Can they look into it and give me an explanation as to what's going on? And I've yet to get a response from them, Karen, but we don't know. They've been shadow banning this channel for about 3 years. No, longer than that, 5 years now, since COVID. Yeah, they've been shadow banning this channel because, you know, I was just open and truthful about the whole scamdemic. But, you know, you're not allowed to be when you're using other people's platforms, are you? And so my platform's been shadow banned since then. But it's good to know that people are still finding me. I do get the statistics from YouTube, and I had over 6,000 views last month. So a lot of you are still getting my posts and still viewing, even though, you know, they're holding the numbers down. It is still getting the views. So thank you for your support. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. For those of you who are supporting me on Patreon, thank you so, so much. If you're supporting me by sharing the works with family and friends, thank you so, so much. More love, more strength, more power to the Sista Shanice Show audience and family members. Enough love to all of you. Right, family. Now, behind the scenes, I should have Dr. Joe and Mama Nasiria, and they are going to be coming to us live and direct from the Gambia. They've had a busy and exhausting day today, and so if they're not ready, I mean, there are some other bits of breaking news that I can bring to you. But let me give them a call and see if they're ready to come forward. Mama Nalsira, Dr. Joe, are you ready to come live? If you are, please
Yes,
do
we are.
put
We're
your
ready.
video on.
Yes.
Oh,
We're
I can
ready.
hear you. Please put your video on so we can see you. We
Okay.
have Mama Nalsira and Dr. Joe in the background there, family. They're just going to be putting their video on so that we will be able to see them. Rise up, rise up. Yes, we're seeing you now. Tilt your camera forward just a little bit so that we can see more of you. And yeah. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Family. This is a couple that I've been telling about that left San Francisco 10 years ago to build a life for themselves here in the Gambia. They're now heading back, and we are going to be delving into, you know, some of their experiences here in the Gambia. But first of all, let me ask this beautiful couple to introduce themselves to the family.
Oh,
Welcome.
well, first of all, we'd like to say thank you. And if you don't mind, I'll introduce this beautiful lady of mine, Mama Nasira.
Yeah.
Mama Nasira, she has a AA degree from the Library Tech Department at City College, San Francisco. She has a BA from New College of California. She's been 26 years a vegetarian, 24 years a vegan. She's a mother of three. She's been married for 46 years. She's the executive director of the Spicy Tasty Vegan Institute in the Gambia. She's been doing that for 9 years. And she's an ambassador of the Global Kindness Federation. So she's very passionate about spreading kindness and making a positive impact. And for many, they consider her the best vegan chef in the world. That includes me. And here is Mama Nasira.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you
Wonderful.
so
Welcome,
much.
Mama Nasira. Thank you for that,
Yeah.
Dr. Joe. Go ahead,
Well,
Mama
thank you so
Nasra.
much. Yes, I'm going to introduce this lovely man beside me. Um, my husband, Dr. Gregory Joe Bledsoe, affectionately known as Dr. Joe. He's a California native, graduated from San Jose State University, and graduated of Hastings Law. What is it? College of Law. Steps for Peace recipient. He's a teacher and he's been an educator for over 30 years. A vegetarian he has been for 20 years. A vegan for 30 years. He's a musician, beautiful mind, mood, motivational music. And also, he's an ambassador of kindness.
Oh,
Yes.
wonderful. Oh, beautiful introduction there. Oh, thank
Thank
you so,
you.
so much. It's a pleasure and a privilege to have you both on the show today to share with our
Yeah.
wonderful audience your experience of living in the Gambia. But before, we go into life here in the Gambia, very briefly, do you want to tell us a little bit about what life was like in San Francisco and that and then leading to what
Yes.
maybe inspired you to make the decision to leave San Francisco and relocate in the Gambia.
Okay.
Okay, well, San Francisco is my native home. I was born and raised there. Born in 1954. And our family lived in the Fillmore area, which is the Harlem of the West Coast. That's where they had all the jazz music, and people come from all over the world to that place. And I can say that in our community, it was all Black Americans there. I attended an elementary school, and it was all Black people from the kindergarten to sixth grade. And unfortunately, my class was the last to graduate. And shortly after that, going on to junior high school, the redevelopers came in and they wanted to actually buy us out. And our families got together and they said no. Well, unfortunately, a few weeks later, we heard a loud noise, boom, boom, and the house across the street was blown up. So all our windows were blown out, and we had a business. This was in 1968 when I was 13. And yeah, all of how there were fires and yeah, and it never made it to the news. But um, but I continued to live there, and we were able to buy another house, and the money wasn't that great. It was really a challenge. But anyway, I did go to college in San Francisco, City College. I came from a family where my mother did not work, and my father was a carpenter. So I came up eating healthy food. And when I started college in 1971, there was a McDonald's across the street. So you know what happened? We were eating there quite a bit. And we kind of got away from, like we all have, from our home Whole Foods. And I also had an opportunity to work in the medical field, nursing, and then from on to library tech. And then after the age of 19, a year and a half after working there, I had an accident with a needle stick from a patient, and I contracted hepatitis B. So from that experience, I had to learn how to eat more of a plant-based lifestyle, and nobody taught me. I just had to learn on my own how to eat food that would not give me stomach pains because I had a lot of suffering at that time. But anyway, I lived in San Francisco until 1980, and I moved to Marin County, and I married my children's father and had three sons. And just I lived in Alaska, so I journeyed all around. And actually, I moved to Oakland after my parents made their transition, and that was an interesting experience because in the 90s, it was a lot of chaos and drugs, and it was really a shock to my children to live in that environment. But now that all three of them are in their 40s, they actually survived that challenged lifestyle because the rents were lower. And at the same time, I ended up going back to college and finishing my degree in library technology and a bachelor's in humanities with an emphasis on library science. And during that time, I ended up meeting Dr. Joe, and actually in 1999, and I was still married, and he was married. And then shortly after, I ran into him a third time in the health food store, and that was history. We got together, and he was teaching, and we used to spend time cooking food on the weekends. We had a lot of friends. We were in our 40s. They were challenged. So, yeah, we had the last, I can say, 18 years in Oakland. However, the reason why we are going back to San Francisco because I have a certificate of preference, which
Oh, well,
means because we were,
before we
yes,
go there,
yes,
there's so much to unpack, isn't there?
yes,
Wow, you spoke about the bombing in San
yeah,
Francisco of that all black area. Um,
yes.
and that you had to you managed to buy another house and how difficult it was. But you know, tell us a bit more of that about that bombing. How many properties were bombed? Was it just the one to scare everybody so that everyone would move out?
No,
What was the response? Did
it
people
was,
then decide to pack up and
yeah,
relocate?
they,
What happened?
yeah. Well, actually, we lived in those old Victorian houses, and the
Mm.
house that was bombed, it was strong. 96 sticks of dynamite blew that building up.
Wow.
Uh-huh. And it was just one little dangling stick just hanging. Unfortunately, there was the last person that left there because it was an empty house where there was the club members, there. And also, I don't know if you've heard the word beatniks. They were the ones that were before hippies afterwards. So the Jews used to come in and sleep there. I never did have an opportunity to see what was in that house because my parents were really strict and you couldn't really go a place that they didn't allow us to travel to or go. So they blew that house up and no one was there. And we were somewhat directly across from them. So our windows were all blown out and the ceiling came in and
Oh, wow.
and it was amazing because several houses on the block, there were fires. So we were wondering just how did all that happen? So that
Mm.
was on a Sunday morning. And
Wow.
that evening, I mean, that morning, we all came outside as children because then we had lots of children in the community. And
Yeah.
a lot of the white Jews, they were walking around looking at us, and it was just an amazing experience. But I
Why were
have a
they walking
certificate of,
around and looking at you all? I mean,
oh, I
where
guess,
did they
and they
come from?
didn't, they were looking to see. They was just, it was like black children, the black people, just had that bombing, and it was set up. It was
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
basically set
So
up.
where had they come from? Where were they
They were
coming
living in
from? Sorry about that.
they were living in their
Were they
own place.
living?
Yes, they lived in areas where it was pretty much all white people, Jewish people. That's what they were. They weren't really white.
Yeah, yeah.
They were
So they
probably
left their own community, what,
to
and
come
happened to be there at the time that the bombing happened, as if
afterwards.
they came
Yeah,
afterwards.
they were walking around. I just remember we were sitting on the stairs and we were just looking at them walking around, looking and seeing us in that horrible situation.
Mm,
And we really learned that it was what they would call Negro removal. It wasn't just in San Francisco, it was in Watts, Los Angeles, Philadelphia.
mm,
They have a way, it was set up that
mm.
when they want you to move and you don't want to move, well, they
Yeah,
will
of
find a
course.
way to force you to leave.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And like you said, it didn't even make the news.
No, it did not. And when they talk about the Fillmore, they say nothing about that. Well, what I did 3 years ago, San Francisco, we're talking about reparations, $5
Yeah.
million dollars to those that are from there. And so
Mm,
I ended up telling my story in the San Francisco City Hall where they had us on the Zoom meeting. And
mhm.
they were surprised to hear that. And I was actually got a call from the New York Times. and they said it was an interesting story. So
Yeah,
they did a
it's
write-up on it,
yeah, great.
but
Yeah,
they
this is
haven't
interesting.
really put it out there yet.
Uh,
So again,
uh-huh,
right now I'm
mhm,
hearing they want to give the native San Franciscans $5 million. So if they
mm,
give it to me, it would be for my siblings. I have there are five of us, six total.
mhm,
So it
mhm.
would be probably set up where we'll just share it, and we'll have probably look at having trust, building up
Yes,
generational wealth. Yeah.
yes, yes.
So, and I also, yeah, so I have an opportunity to buy a house in San Francisco because of that. And
Uh-huh.
the certificate of preference, they call it a COP, they don't give those out anymore because that happened, what, over 50 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really
Wow.
grateful that we can go and buy a home, and life is different there too, as it is all over the world. And
Yeah.
COVID, that
The
pandemic did
scamdemic,
not
yeah.
help.
Yeah, no, not at all. I'm sure it didn't.
Yeah, the
Wow, that's a
scandemic.
really
That's
important
right.
part of history that you shared with us there. And most of us have heard of
Yeah,
Rosewood, Black Wall
yeah,
Street, Oklahoma that was bombed, but I'd never heard about what happened in San
that's right.
Francisco. So, wow. And I
That's
think
right.
around that time, there were many black neighborhoods, weren't there, in America? Because, up until that time,
Yes.
the late 50s, early 60s, a lot of America was still very
Yes. Mhm.
segregated. And, the stories that we are reading about that era suggests really, if you look at it with fresh eyes from an economic perspective, we were better off. We didn't know it then, but
That's right.
as a
We
community, we
were.
were better off
We were.
segregated. So in San Francisco at the time, did the black community have their own stores, their own bakeries, their own butchers, their own
Yes, we did.
laundromats, their own cinemas, restaurants, and
Yes.
own the high streets?
Everything, our own businesses. It
Wow,
was the best life we could have ever had. And I still
wow.
feel affected by it because we had an opportunity to go even farther into having a better life. And it
Yeah,
seemed like they stopped it. And
yeah.
there weren't really any drugs out there like that. Of course, there were some. But after that situation, that's when they started bringing in the freebasing of the cocaine and then the crack. I mean, we had to actually, those of us who really had a plan for a future, we had to wait until all this ended. And so now we're just now seeing, so many of our people are gone, and we
Oh,
can see the benefit that we can probably have that again. I know that some of the Americans are having tribes now,
mhm,
soul tribes. So
mhm,
I'm interested.
mhm, mhm.
Uh,
Wow. Okay, wow, what a story. Thanks for sharing that, family. If you've just joined us, we are interviewing Mama Nasira
I have
and
to call you later.
Dr. Joe. And Mama Nasira was just sharing a really interesting bit of history there with us about San Francisco. And so, yeah, you had this
Yeah.
wonderful life that you were living when you grew up in San Francisco. And,
Yes. We had our
you
own
said that
stores.
our own
Mm.
stores, our own communities, turning over money, etc., as we would do. Those were the good old days. And
Yes,
then
those were the
you,
really good old days. And it's so true. Yes,
yeah.
we had at least four stores in the 2 or 3 blocks.
Mhm,
We shopped in our own stores. We had even clothing stores. And my mother actually named me Deborah. I changed my name after my divorce from my children's father. And we had they had a store called Deb's,
mhm,
Deborah,
mhm.
and that lets
Oh,
you know that our name is really the original names, you
yeah.
know, um, to have a store called my name.
Yeah.
And then after that, of course, things changed. But yeah,
Yeah.
I remember we had stores where you can go and kill a chicken. That was
Mm,
that was different from me because I wasn't from the South, you know, where my parents,
Uh-huh.
because I remember my mother taking me to this store where they had the chickens in the window. And she said, well, which one of the chickens would you like for me to buy? So I pointed to that one. So I just had no idea that they're going to take this chicken and threw it in the vat and the thing was going around, cut it. That was such a shock to me. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's
so
how
we
fresh the
really
food
did.
was. That's how fresh the food was, you know. It wasn't chicken like today, which is, which has been
It was,
frozen for months and months and months before it hits the plate. Oh, wow, straight off the farm.
that's right.
I just want to rise up everybody in the chat.
Yes.
Welcome, welcome. If you've got any questions or comments, you can post them in the chat and we will be, bringing your comments to the forefront. Okay, so rise up, Sister Kev in the house. Good to have you there. We've also got the Hebrew Ishmaelite collection in the house saying a brilliant introduction. Wow. Follow this couple in the Gambia. They sound so young. Hallelujah. Rise up, Hebrew Shemai. Good to have you in the
Yes.
house. Yeah, as rise up, Sister Karen, keeping the house on fire in the chat there for us today. Thank you, thank you. Talking about keeping the chat on fire, want to rise up our brother in his absence, Brother Kwame Oboje. He's presently laying his father to rest. Our thoughts are with you, beloved. Also want to rise up Sister Afrijamo, who's just returned to the Ghana. Rise up, sis. I want to rise up Sheriffess in the house as well, had a recent bereavement. Our thoughts are with you as well, sis. Those are just a shout out to some of our regular followers who are going through right now or not with us in the chat, but when they are there, they normally keep the chat on fire. So those of you in the house, I need you to join Sister Karen and the Hebrew Shemite Collective and put your comments in the chat, and we will periodically go to the chat and bring your comments and suggestions to the forefront. Okay, yeah, so Mama Nasira, wow, what an opening. Thank you so much. And so, you've told us a bit about life when you were growing up in San Francisco. You got married and divorced, and then you met the wonderful husband next to you who you've been with for
Yes.
over 40 years now. And together, tell us a bit about, how you both came to the decision and what made you come to the decision to relocate to the Gambia. At what point in your life? Dr. Joe, yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
Well,
Dr. Joe.
First of all, I'd like to give you a little of my history. My people are from the Florida area, Native
Okay.
Americans, and we were part of, you may know that, the Trail of Tears, where we were forced to march to the Oklahoma area. And a lot of us died, sadly. But since my people were very resilient with them and others that came, we were the ones that started the Black Wall Street that you know of. Now, my great grandmother was 13 years old at the time. This is when the bombing started. They bombed us from the sky, as well as started the fires. My grandmother was so traumatized that her family moved to California. That's how I ended up in California.
Wow.
So we still have some things that we're working through. Some of it's in our DNA, certain trauma. But at the end of the day, we're really thankful and grateful to be where we are. Now, you asked the question, how did we
Trauma
end up in
on
the
top of
Gambia? Well,
trauma.
Mama
What we've
Nasira,
been.
uh,
Ooh, yeah, sorry, carry on. Yeah. Carry on, Dr.
yeah,
Joe,
well,
sorry.
Mama Nasira was catering. Yeah, Mama Nasira was catering to people, healthy, wholesome food. And when I met her, I was certainly impressed. And as she said, we were both married at the time. I was checking on my music in a library because I had my music in lots of libraries. And some folks apparently liked my music because they didn't return it. So I had to keep coming back and my music. Well, I happened to meet this beautiful woman. I was intrigued. And I saw her again and we talked. I gave her my music. And the third time, as she pointed out, we were not married anymore. When she told me, I'm divorced, she said it with such enthusiasm. I got, well, yeah, I'm right there with you, baby. And then when I was on a radio station, and I called her and asked if I could come over after I got through speaking. She said yes. When I arrived in her place in Oakland, I was blown away. This sister had cut up all kind of vegetables and had segregated them into different canisters and plates and whatever. And then I saw how she started to put together her stews and I was like right into it because my mother had 10 children. And one of the things that she pointed out to us, she said, boy, these modern women, they ain't nothing. If the electric can opener would have break, both y'all they starve to death. So you better learn how to wash dishes, how to change the baby's clothes, how to hang out the clothes, how to all of those wonderful things that just fit hand in glove with her because she'd never ran across a man who enjoyed washing dishes, who enjoyed cutting up fruits and vegetables, and enjoyed her food. Now, it wasn't long after that, Mama Nasira and I said, it's really, really challenging trying to keep up with these people. And I came up with the brilliant idea. I said, well, let's do like the old saying, you teach a person how to fish instead of fishing for them. So we had a cooking class. And I have to admit, Sister Shanice, well, I bet on the wrong horse. There were more people that wanting her food than ever. So what we decided to do I was a teacher at the time and she was doing her thing as library technician. She said, let's just retire, take a few months off and write our cookbook. And that 2 months off turned into 27 months with no doorbell and had no
And no
doorbell, no
television.
television. And we started off just writing the recipes, but then it evolved to trying to put in information that a lot of us folks of color were asking about. And that's how we ended up with the first book, which is Spicy Tasty Vegan Cuisine, an informative health guide for the melanated people of color. Therein, we pointed out the many physiological differences, which end up being carrying over to mental and spiritual, but pointing out why we should eat a certain diet and also respecting the fact that there are others whose bodies are different and they eat a different way. And we have been so blessed that the book became number one bestseller on Amazon, and it still is. And our other book is number one bestseller in the UK. So that just gives you a little story of where I got to be with this beautiful woman I'm with now.
And also, 2016, well, the book was completed in 2015, and we were able to go to different events and sell books and bring food. And it appears that I had a lot of energy. I have some now, but it was amazing. I would stay up as I do right now, all in the way in the wee in the mornings, cooking different meals, taking them to people. And so we just decided in 2016, when we had gone to one event, and Dr. Ilela Africa was there and his wife, Dr. Stevenson. So for him to try the food, they had to taste the food first. And then they said it was wonderful. So when he ate it, he loved it so much. He came out and we took pictures together. And his wife, she invited us to her home to do cooking classes. So we have 8 videos on YouTube where we've done 8 cooking classes in their home. And at the same time, the videographer that they had, He lived in the UK, in England, and he
Oh.
said, "You guys should come, and I can assist you." So this was
Mm.
2016 in September. We took that journey to England.
Yeah.
And he had a house and everything set up for us. And he got
Yeah.
together, with other people and Dougie and Supreme. We met all of the brothers and sisters there. And we had
Yeah.
no idea there was so many brothers and sisters in the UK. And it was so much love and support. We had an opportunity to connect with what is it? Queen Afua. She was there.
Oh,
She had an event and we had a table. We sold books. We donated. And after November, it got really cold. So
yes.
a lot of as you know, the British, they have that connection in the Gambia. So we
Yes.
were told that we should get a guest house. We
Mhm.
said in the Gambia. So I happen to have a friend that lives in Alaska, and
Uh-huh.
she's from the Gambia. And she told me that one day I should come and visit. So I phoned her and I asked her if she can connect me with her family so
Yes.
that we can come to the Gambia. And sure
Yeah.
enough, they did. Now we had to pay a lot of money, but we had
Right.
a nice foundation. And when we first had gotten to the Gambia, there weren't many Black Americans. And
Mhm.
we learned doing Yaya Jamming that during his time, we had to go to town hall meetings because of the time of them trying to get him out of the president's position. And so I talked to um, what is it, one of the, what do you call them? The officers where we go and get our cards.
Residential cards.
Yeah, the residential cards.
Yeah.
I can't even think it, but anyway, I was
Mm.
asking them, I said, "Are there any Black or African Americans here?" Because, we were thinking of African Americans. And they said, "Yeah, plenty of them are there." So when we got there, we saw this long line, and we were so excited to see Black Americans. And when we got there, they were Gambian Americans. So we said, "Oh, wow, this is different." So we got a chance to meet all of them, and there were maybe only 5 or 6 Black Americans there,
Mm.
and it was a shock. And so it was just pretty much the other Black Americans that were coming and going back and forth. But we stayed, and then when
Oh,
COVID occurred, that's
yeah.
when we saw the Black Americans come. And as you know, we have a plethora.
Everyone was running away from COVID. Yeah, I can understand
There are
that one.
plenty here.
So,
Mhm.
We,
so you kind of I didn't hear like a conscious plan that you both put in place to come to the Gambia. It kind of just followed on from your sessions with Dr.
well,
Layla
what we
and his
did,
wife, and then visiting a friend in the Gambia, and from
yes,
there, yeah. So it was that visit, was it?
yeah,
And once you were here and you experienced
yes.
it,
What we,
you decided to
hmm
stay. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
hmm Yeah, so what we had done, yeah, we were brought to a 3-bedroom apartment here in the Gambia, and we started cooking and putting it out on Facebook.
Yeah.
And after 4 months, we had to move. So we got the large house, as you remember, you visit us there at the 6-bedroom
Uh-huh.
guest house we
Yeah.
had. And what I had done, I had hired some people to help with the ladies to help with the cleaning. But I
Yeah.
noticed that when they would work all day, they didn't have food to eat.
Yeah.
So I was starting to make food, and then I decided, you guys got to learn how to cook. So it
Mhm.
started from there. I started coming
Okay,
up with
great. So
menus. We
I
used
just want to
recipes from the
rewind
book,
it. I want to
and
rewind again. Sorry to interject. If I can rewind again a little bit. So when you left America to come to the Gambia, did you pack up? Did you say goodbye to
you
everybody,
break
or
you're
did you
breaking
just
up a
say,
little.
oh, okay, sorry. So when you were in America, before coming to the Gambia, while you were in America, did you pack up, sell up,
Yeah.
and move and
Yes, we
to the
did.
Gambia? So
Yes,
you
we did.
Right. So was that,
Yeah,
so
we
when
actually
you, sorry, I'm breaking up on my, I hope you got the gist of my question. I was just trying to find out if you actually planned the move, or did you visit and then decide, hey, we're going to stay? But families, a lot of people do that. They come and they visit and they're like, we're going to stay. It wasn't a planned move. Some people plan, some people don't. Was yours a planned move, or did it just kind of happen fluidly?
It sort of evolved, like she was saying, from teaching them how to cook to
well, what she was speaking of is when before we left, Quasi told us he was going to get a place for us. So that's when we started getting all of our business in place, our bills and all of that. And I mean, it was a big journey. And we did the same thing at that time, 10 years ago, is what we're doing now. All of our friends came together and they bought everything, we gave it away and we packed up 9 suitcases, and then
Mm.
we left. Now,
Oh,
the one interesting thing, after we had packed up and we had gone to the airport, they asked us. It was a Black American woman. She said, "Well, why do you only have a one-way ticket?" And we said, "Well, because we're authors and we're on a book tour." She said, "Well, can I see your bank account?" That was interesting. So my
mm.
husband quickly showed her the bank account.
Oh, I've lost you. Um, oh, family in the chat, let me know what's happened. Is it me? Have I frozen, or has Mama Nasir and Dr. Joe frozen? Looks like I've lost Mama Nasir and Dr. Joe. I'm sure they'll be back in a very short while. Great, they're back. Please take yourself off mute. I lost you for a short while. Please unmute. You're on mute at the moment. You're on mute. You're on mute. Yes, please unmute.
okay,
Rise
how's
up,
that? Can you
Victor,
hear
in the
us?
house.
Yeah, the connection here is
It's a
Yes.
little challenges.
Yeah, the internet has been weak because Ramadan is coming, and generally this is what happens during this
a
time.
Oh,
lot of people are on the system.
oh,
Yes, yeah.
God.
So we have this
But you're back.
experience every year around Ramadan.
Oh. Well, you're
Yes.
back with us now, so please do continue.
Yes. Yeah, so we actually, yeah, we planned it and we allowed our families to accept the fact that we were going to go on this journey. And it was amazing. We were both in our early 60s with this wonderful plan, and it was an amazing journey. It was an amazing experience,
Yeah.
to come to, the UK, and we had sold everything. So that means we had to get drivers to take us to different events and to shopping. What I really loved about England is we had all the health food stores there, like in Brixton. We could
Yeah.
buy similar food as we had in America. However, here in the Gambia, it was a lot different. But the my friend's brother, he's related to Khalifa Saleh. So they have a lot of, I can say they're pretty high up in their with their family. They're real family orientated and they have a lot of knowledge of the Gambia because they're from Banjul. So he
Mm.
actually took us to the women's farm.
Mm.
And that's how I got introduced to the greens because I was concerned about the greens because the sister Shakina, she said that I would have to buy the powdered greens. And I said, that's not really enough greens. So he took us where I was able to learn about the Gambian, Bolaji, Kering Kering, Bisop, and Callaloo, all of that, and so I started cooking and it just worked out. And there were many times I have to order from the UK to get some of the mushrooms and some of the coconut oil, where they have more now, the flax seeds, the chia seeds, now they're all here in the Gambia. So Gambia is really growing when it comes to the food. They're more conscious. And another thing, I like to see a health food store here in the Gambia. That would be
Mm,
great. Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah, good
who
indeed.
knows?
So
Hmm.
you've seen the transformation over the last 10 years, from when you arrived, and you were
Yeah.
unable to get, the greens. Because, I mean, what did you find about the diet here in the Gambia compared to, say, the diet in the US for people who were, aware of dietary needs?
Yeah, well, um, of course, they have their rice and they have those greens, but they have those greens more or less for special occasions like Ramadan's, Eid, or Tabaski. Whereas for us, we ate greens almost every week. And the beans, but they do have their beans, like they do have their local black eyed peas and their peas. They have a lot, but I think there's still just more time that about learning, I mean, when you think of Gambia, um, everybody has come from somewhere to Gambia. That's what I was told.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
sometimes, some of the young people, they'll say Gambians is for the Gambians. And one lady said, well, how could you say that? If we all had to pick up our suitcases, all of us would be going back home somewhere.
Mm.
So this is what Gambia is, what I've learned in the 10 years. It's like a new frontier,
Mhm.
just like I lived in Alaska. It was the last frontier.
Yeah.
This is the new frontier. And
Uh-huh.
it's a place, and I can see that I will come back to see the
Mhm.
continuation of the growth in the Gambia.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, there are many who may be watching who have never been to the Gambia. And so I wonder if you could share with us maybe a little bit about what your expectations were and your thoughts were about. Oh, by the way, had you visited anywhere else in Africa prior to coming to the Gambia, or was Gambia the first African?
Gambia
Well,
was the first place.
it was the first
Okay.
African country. We did go to Casamas. We spent time there in a guest house with some friends.
Excuse me.
Mhm.
And also, I had an opportunity to go to Dakar because one of my
Oh,
sisters visit
yeah.
the Gambia in 23. So
Hmm.
we spent time there because a lot of people, when they travel to the
Yeah.
Gambia, they stop in Senegal first.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, so that's where
Ah,
I
so
was.
because what I'd love to touch on really is maybe expectations, because as an American, I would like to know, what were you taught about Africa before actually visiting Africa? And then to what extent did it actually meet or, exceed your expectations? Or, were you surprised by what you found compared to what you were taught? Or, was it a genuine representation of Africa that you was taught about in America? What was the talk about Africa in America where
Well,
you were back
well, when I
then?
was in college, I had gone to school with Nigerians and I
Yeah,
worked with them at the hospital.
yeah,
So I had an opportunity to spend time with them in their homes and in my home, and we ate a lot of fufu and
yeah,
stews.
yeah,
Um, so I learned that my expectations of Africa, to the Americas, because we're so far away from Africa and it
yeah,
costs so much money to go there. Um, I was thinking they were, people from a higher class and, academically, I saw that they were stronger than myself. So I loved to study with them. But then
mm,
I did see that, some of the things that we did in America coming up in the Black community, we had our music, we had our, the games that we played, and, they had no knowledge of that. And that's when I thought, wow, there is a difference. So my
mhm.
mother, she told me that one day, she said, you need to go to Africa. And so
Oh,
it stayed on my mind. And then when she was ill with cancer, she said to me, she said, when are you going to go to Africa? And I was about 41 at the time. No, I wasn't even 40, I was 39. And I said, well, as soon as I raise the children and go back and finish my education. And that's what I did. And I've learned a lot about Africa because the things that I wasn't exposed to in Africa in terms of culture, the villages and all of that, that's the same in the South, that I didn't experience. But my mom, my grandparents, they had that experience. So I feel really, really honored that I had an opportunity, that I would have to do things like if I go to the restroom somewhere, I have kept toilet paper or paper towels, and to me, that was when I first came here, that was just, I mean, I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was fine. I had to order food, and and now, and 10 years later, I'm thinking, well, now I think I need to go home. And I mean, I may need to see the physical therapist and all of these things, and I'll just go back and forth. And then I'll have an opportunity to travel to other African countries or any place in the world. So that's
yeah,
kind of where I am now.
yeah.
I'm 72
Mhm.
years young, and now this is my
And you look
time.
wonderful for your age as well. I must say, someone's commented on that in the chat. I want to write up Ida in the chat who said, "You look good, Mama." Yeah.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
we got Queen Dubby in the house who says, "I lived in the Gambia also in early
Wow.
2006, and good to hear these stories." And Kev is loving the history as well. And so they're loving the stories and the history. Rise up, Sheriff S in the house. I called your name earlier. She said, drop that link, sis. Always looking for vegan recipes and smoothies. Dr. Joe, please
Yes.
grab that link and drop it in the YouTube chat. That would be great. Rise up, Victor in the house. He says, such determination for a better future. Amazing. He says, I'm so intrigued by the stories that you're sharing. So rise up, Victor. Thank you so much for that. And the Jamaica Drunker's in the house as well. He says, up ye mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. Rise up. So, Sister Queen, your mother sowed that seed in your spirit. She said, you must visit Africa. Had your mother ever visited Africa? And so,
No,
what
and
made her decide that you needed to visit Africa? Do you know what it
well,
was?
it's interesting. My mother was a wonderful, she was an intelligent woman. She attended the University of Pine Bluff University in Arkansas. That's where our family land is. And she said that I think what I've learned, we considered Indians to the Americas, but over the 1940s is when, after the war, there was a lot of racism and a lot of problems. So our family, they were fighting and doing a lot of killing and all of that. So some family were members, and my mother was one, they left and they came to San Francisco.
Mhm,
And then there was another family, they had gone to Los Angeles
mhm,
because they were having a problem. And I think that they were cousins. Some families, when they have the wealth,
mhm,
they married into each other to maintain that money. So I came from that type of environment. Um, so my mother, she went outside, and those black people at that time, they were color struck, as they say.
mhm,
My great grandmother was, very fair skinned, but considered an American.
mhm.
But then my mother married my father, who was dark skinned, and the family was against that.
Okay.
So my mother didn't last long in that relationship. So for me, because I was raised up by her, she married a man who worked in Alaska. He was a carpenter, he used to go back and forth. The house that she rented was his house. So she ended up marrying him. So, we were financially pretty well off. So my mother wanted me to know that when I was around those Africans, don't think that, they are better than you. You need to go and find out. And she knew that I was very conscious too. I was quite different. I was into astrology. I was into, the Black Power, and my college was important. So I was a child that had a plan, and
Mm.
I followed it up until today. So that was when she said, "You need to go to Africa," and I'm really grateful that I did. Now it's interesting. I have three sons, and they never came over. And it was because the generation, I believe, is different. They don't have the same inspiration of Africa as I did. I even changed my name to an African Muslim name.
Mhm.
And they have African names. I named them African names. And my mother was against that,
Oh.
because she knew that you need to go and find out truth, and I did. I learned that I am truly an American, you
Mhm.
know, and and yes, Africans are, they're like we have melanated people all over the planet,
Mhm.
and I just didn't understand at one time why, if there were melanated people all over the planet, why was it that we were forced to, feel that Africa was our home? It could have been in Japan, it could have been in China, it could have been in Brazil, you know. But I don't know. It's just the way life is. We're still learning, and
We
I do know
certainly
this
are
one
still
thing.
learning on a daily basis, and yeah, refer people to my book. I do actually cover our origins in there from an archaeological perspective. And you're right, as Africans, we were everywhere, but of course we have our roots, and our
Mhm.
roots was
That's right.
definitely in Africa, and it's from there that we migrated and populated the entire globe. So the first
Well,
Americans
well,
were indeed Black Africans, and the first Chinese were Africans. The first Indians, original people of India, were Africans. The original people of Europe and of Britain were Africans. And that's what the archaeology actually points to. We haven't heard from you, Dr. Joe, for a little while. Do you want to share with us? I
well,
know
my
you
wife
probably
is
just want
doing
to
such a
jump in about the origins of us as Africans, but
Yes.
well.
let's
That's
go.
because
Let's
of
go
the
back a
only
bit first, shall
yeah the
we?
only reason that kind of jumped at me is because
Yeah,
we're Native Americans, and we've had this
yeah, native
narrative.
to America. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
you
Native
are.
Americans. Yes,
Yeah.
and we've had this narrative basically that all of us came from Africa, and it's
So
not
do
true.
you think so where no. So let's have this conversation. Oh, you've just turned the tables on us, Doctor. Right. Right. Yeah, because I know that there's this movement in America, isn't there, that says, that you've just said, we're Native American. But do you then go on to say that Native Americans are not Africans?
Well, you can start with Pangea, where everything was all at once, okay? All the land and how it divided and all that. But uh, the Black American indigenous people, we're the oldest on that land. We've
Yeah,
had
yeah,
others that come in, like the
yeah,
Mongolians. We're talking
yeah.
about Genghis Khan's people, that DNA strand that came in through the Bering Strait. We also had European types that the Black Moors brought in and had
Yeah.
them sign up as Native Americans. And we also had folks like the Doles, Dulles. It was a
Yeah.
Doles bill where for 30 years, folks were able to pay $5 and they got all the rights and privileges of being a Native American.
Mhm,
Now, part of what
mhm.
we've had to go through is that narrative that we all came from Africa. No, 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 no.
So where
Our
did the
DNA
Native
is
Americans come from?
where
From
did the native,
America. We're from
we're
America.
from America. We are the
Yeah.
original people.
Yeah,
We've had other folks
it's
that come
interesting,
in.
isn't it? Because I agree, the natives of America were not pale skinned people.
Oh,
They were people who look like you. And
Yes.
you're in Africa. Do Africans look like you, or do you look different from
I
Africans?
think where there's a difference. I think there's a difference in our color. We're copper. When you go to the encyclopedia, the Americans are copper color people. And I can see the red. I remember when I was a little girl, I stayed with a cousin, an older cousin, and I was about maybe 8 or 9. And I remember her looking at me because I was one of the darker children. She said, "You have a beautiful color. You got the red in you." And I was like, wow, because I had a different feeling about myself because my color was a little different than those in the family. And my hair was shorter. It was thick, but
Yeah.
it didn't, like my other sister with the different father, they have the French, from Mississippi. So they have more of the longer hair. So for
Mhm.
her to tell me about my color, I didn't know. I remembered that. And now
Mhm.
I can see I have red in my color. Whereas I
Mhm.
look at the Africans, they have more of the darker, the charcoal. They're the black. If you say black, I think they have more of the black, and we have more of the reds, we have the yellows, and
Do you
um
not see all shades of Africans? Do you not see
Yes,
Africans from
we
who have
see
a
all.
lighter hue right down to Africans who have a much darker hue, dark,
mhm.
dark, beautiful black to
Yes,
blue
dark.
hue? So
Yeah.
we can see that there are Africans of all different hues,
Mhm.
from the lighter to the darker, but
Hmm.
all Africans, yeah? So,
Well,
according to archaeologists, and I'd like to pull up a map, but this could be a subject for another show, or we can have the little conversation here.
Yeah.
Um, Archaeologically, it's the origins. I mean, well, first of all, how long have Native Americans been in America, do you think?
it's
Forever.
been forever. We're the original
How
people.
how how
When
how
you
far back is forever?
I
What
think when you think
evidence?
about the Olmecs, are you familiar with the
Yeah,
Olmecs? Because I work
of
in the
course,
library,
yes.
we have the big Olmecs.
Yeah, of course.
I
What date?
understand that they're the oldest. And I mean,
Okay.
I listened to some
And
of the other,
how old are they?
I
How
can't
old
I
are
can't
they?
say I think they're the beginning of everybody because they said Africa was really Brazil.
Yeah, but you
I'm
have to
still
be able to
learning that.
put things on a timeline because that's how we get to understand the kind of sequencing of events. So, from the research in the library, they must
Mhm.
have been able to date the Olmec heads based on, the depth, geological depth that they were
Mhm.
discovered at, so they've got all the different layers, haven't they, of the dirt. And so from the layers,
Yeah.
they can work out the age. So what age are the Olmec people? Maybe someone in the chat can help me. The
Yes, that
Olmecs,
would be
what age
good.
are
They,
they?
And
Do you
what
know?
about
Do you
some
have
of
any idea?
Jesus?
yeah.
Are they 5,000 years, 10,000, 20,000 years?
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be good to
What,
know.
what,
The
Yeah.
what,
Olmecs.
do you know?
Well, Sister Shanice, we're not trying to step on anybody's toes
Yeah.
No,
because
it's
we,
interesting. No, you're sharing with us a perspective that a lot of Americans haven't. And it's good to have someone here. I don't think we've had the conversation. So it's good to have you both here to share
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
perspective. Because,
Well,
if you date, for example, the Olmecs back 10,000 years and say they were the Native Americans 10,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago, 50,000 years ago, even,
Mhm.
we've got, archaeological evidence that shows that Africans migrated to the Americas about 200,000 years ago. And there's archaeological evidence as well to show that Africans are millions of years old. And so we are so old as Africans, yeah, millions of years old. And over hundreds of thousands of years, that migration happened across the entire globe. So, can we really go further back than the migration of the Africans? It's like me saying we're the natives to Britain. We are the natives to Britain because we were the original people of Britain. Us, but we recognize that Britain was the land where we have our heritage, and no one could deny us. They've tried, but now we have uncovered the fact that we have tens of
Mhm.
thousands, possibly 200,000 years of history in Britain, and that the
Yeah.
original Asians of Britain were us Africans. We migrated via Africa across the Mediterranean. We've got boats. We've come across boats that are like 8,000 years old. And the same boats that were in Nigeria have been dug up in Ireland. Very similar construction, so we can see the route. And there's also the evidence. You're into astronomy, which is interesting because our Asian ancestors mapped the stars. That's how, yeah, and I know Dr. Joe, you're very much into astronomy as well. They mapped the stars and traveled across the entire globe. And there's evidence, you know, of that star mapping that they did, the astronomy all over the globe. That goes back, you know, tens of thousands of years. So we are an ancient people. And yeah, I mean, all my African, Asian, indigenous Americans, African Americans, yeah, indigenous, you are the indigenous people of America, and, you know, heritage there, definitely. But in terms of like the roots, it's like a Chinese person saying, because they live in America, they're not Chinese. Yeah, they may have lived in America for 50,000 years, but they're still Chinese. Or, do you understand? It's not,
Well,
they're not, they wouldn't deny their Chinese roots, but they will lay claim to being the indigenous people maybe of America because they've been there for 50,000
well,
years.
notwithstanding the information has been put out there, because we've had a lot of information that was put out there that was designed to separate us from our land. Now, the
Yeah.
whole story,
It's your land. Oh, it's your land. Yeah.
our land in America,
Yes.
as
Oh,
Native
yeah.
Americans,
Yes. Yeah.
we've
You're
had
the
others
original
to come
people of
in,
America.
and it's been
Uh-huh.
well, okay. Well, it's been
Go
a
on.
conspiracy, basically, to separate us from our land. And that is bringing in
Uh-huh.
the Mongolians, bringing in the Europeans, and they became the face of the American Indian, which was
Which is a
wrong.
lie. Yes.
Yes. And what
Yes.
I'm simply saying is that, yes, we all had the same roots from the beginning.
Yes.
And as I
Yes.
pointed out in Pangea, yeah, the
Yeah.
land separated, but
Yeah.
Mama and I, Sarah and I, we're just pointing in on what we know in terms of us being there first.
Yes.
Now, there is evidence that show that, you know, some folks have flipped the script on us. A lot of the things that they say were in Africa were actually in what we call the Americas. We have more mounds, we have more pyramids than they do in Africa. But what I'm trying to say is we basically have been getting over that big rope to dope lie that we
Yeah.
all came from Africa, and it's not true. Now, there are someone that would stake their hat on that because there have been a lot of research to that fact so that they could more or less say, yeah, that's the reason why you don't have any land. You came from somebody else. And it's very convoluted because you had a lot of folks that have been working on that to separate us from our land, changing our name, giving us different titles, whether it was Negro, Freeman, colored, all of this was to separate us from our land.
And it's not like that with anybody in the world. They are who they are, Chinese, Africans, or whatever. But the Black American of the Americas, they put us in all these different categories. But I think this is the day that the truth is coming out, because I have a sister, she reads every day. She retires, she reads and she studies. And she
Oh,
was
she's got to
telling,
get my book, by the way. Woo!
yes,
You need to read my book as well, and then we're going to have this
yeah, you
conversation
know,
again.
is
Please
it in
do.
the
I mean,
Timbuktu?
I love the
Is it in
American
Timbuktu?
perspective.
Yes.
Timbuktu, no,
I said,
I've got copies here, but no, it's not in Timbuktu. But
oh, okay.
I would love us to return to this conversation after you've read my book. You're right.
Yes.
So much history that has been hidden from us, and there is so much of our history that has been plagiarized, that has been whitewashed, that has been turned upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but
north is really south and south is north.
yeah, yeah. This is the information age now, and there's
Yeah,
so
this
much
is the
new
time.
information that's coming to the surface that's going to help us to map
Yes.
our history. But I spent 3 years doing the research that's in this book, so please do get it.
Yes.
Someone's got here a couple of comments on the age of the Olmec. The Jamaican drunkard said that Olmecs are 1200 BCE to 400 BCE. Thank you for that, the Jamaican junk roll. Sheriff S, roughly 1200 to 400 BC during the Mesoamerica's formative period, according to Wikipedia, and we all know who funds and edits their pages. So take that with a pinch of salt. We're here on that, Queen Sheriff S. Yes, anybody else? We've got Kwame Osei, who says the Olmec is 800 BCE. So these dates are very, very recent compared to our history. When you consider on the timeline, our history goes back, you know, at least 3 million years, because Lucy, who they, you know, insultingly try and, you know, suggest wasn't Homo sapiens sapien, is about 3.3 million years old. We are millions of years old. These Caucasoids on the planet are less than, probably around 2,000 years old or a little less. Than 2,000 years old, compared to our history that goes back to ancients of time, to the Stone Age era. You know, like you said, we were building those stone mounds, those stone pyramids. We, you know, were forming huge megalithic structures out of stone. We were somehow moving huge boulders of stone weighing hundreds of tons over hills and valleys. That was our Stone Age era, where our ancestors were building in stone, and they did that on all the continents around the world. We have a phenomenal history. Let's see. Kwame Osei says, your name pertains to your land origin, culture, and tradition. What is your native name? Well, we know names will change, but let's clear on. Sister Shanice, I am sorry, but apparently your guests are confused. So we will have different reading of our history. Really, what about the Khoisan? You are darker than them. Oh, these are the African Khoisans, you know, from the South African region. Thomas says we all came from the stars and the planets. Oh,
that makes sense.
There you go.
There you go.
Says to do your DNA, you will look like a Nigerian, stroke Ghanaian, stroke Togolese. Sheriff S. Saunders,
like
aka Tariq Nasheed.
They may look like us.
Yeah.
Tariq Nasheed. So Tariq Nasheed and Yvette Carnell have a lot to answer for. Watch the surname Carnell. Okay. Ida says Cherokee and Blackfoot. So these are the names of some of the African tribes. Did you know, family, in the chat, that all across Britain we had African tribes and they had tribal names? The original towns and places of Britain were named after tribes as well. And within the tribes that there were clans. Yeah, and every tribe had their king, and every king had their domain, their kingdom, and that there were thousands of kings that reigned in Britain over thousands of years. I mean, our history has just been smashed to pieces and scattered all over, and here we are trying to pull it all back together. Sister Afrojamo, good to have you in the house. She says, well, Sister Shanice, I'm watching from Ghana, listening to wonderful melanin real Africans. Rise up, Sister Afrojamo. Great to have you in the house. So a few comments in the chat. Our people are torn between nationality and ethnicity. Rise up, DJ. Yeah, you know, I did something on that a little while back. They've done a job on us in terms of ethnicity, nationality, origin. Yes, they really have. I remember visiting a school in London, and there were a group of Black children. We just call all melanated, dark melanated people in Britain Black children. And I was like, where do you come from? And they said, London. I said, no, where are you originally from? And they said, London. And they didn't know that their origin was African. And they took their nationality to be their origin. But, you know, this is something that we're going to have to sort out among ourselves as melanated people around the world, because, like you said, for the land, to claim our land, they say that we weren't there, and they claim that they were the original people of those lands. And you're right, it's all about claiming our lands. It's just like those of us who were the original people of Britain, who were transported from Britain to the Caribbean, not directly from Africa. Yeah, although we are of African origin, we were transported from Britain. England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales was totally populated by Africans, and they emptied Britain of the blacks, partly by genociding about 50% of us, and the remaining 50% or 49% say they transported to the Americas and the Caribbean. So we have family who we were separated from, who were transported to America. And I'm going to go into detail about that part of our history in my next book, family. You're going to have to get that. But this book lays the foundation. This book, just like our guests are saying, they are the original native people of America. My book is saying that we were the original native people of Britain. Yeah, but, you know, we're clear about where we were prior to coming to Britain and how we arrived in Britain. We have Scotland, that was named after Queen Scotia, who was an Egyptian princess who became queen and whose descendants ruled Ireland for over 1,300 years. We have, you know, a huge amount of history that has been stripped from us, and it's a beautiful history as well. I love my American family. We've been sharing and learning so much from each other, and that's the other beautiful thing about us coming together. You know, in different parts of the world, we can share our experiences, we can share our history, we can share the knowledge that we have of our history as well, because it really has been a journey for us as a people to begin to uncover the truths. You know, just imagine Dr. Joe and Mama Nasir being born and brought up in Britain, being told, go back to your own country. This ain't your country, only to find in my old dizzy years that it is my country, and it was my country before they got here, you know, and that they were the ones who stole the country from us. Can you believe that? And so this is what you're finding out as well in America. But, you know, you were there before they were, you know. I think it was Franklin, what was this? Franklin, famous. Give me the name of someone, Franklin. Just Franklin. He made a famous speech, and he looked around America and he said, you know, that there are more dark-skinned people here in America than light-skinned people. And if you keep, he was telling the people who were transporting the dark-skinned people in America, that if you keep transporting dark-skinned people, then we're going to miss out on the opportunity to make America our land, where, you know, their complexion can never be the same as ours. So he was a white person talking about and complaining about that all America was black. And there's so much evidence as well, you know, from eyewitnesses that's documented in some of these old Asian annals that confirm that all America was indeed black, and therefore does belong to Black people. Well, anyway, we have digressed so much, but I love it. We could return to this. Please, let's return to this after you've read my book, please.
Well, we're looking forward to it because we like your initial, like we spoke to you before. Yes. I'm looking forward to it. But at the end of the day, we've all had to deal with a lot of convoluted sort of information and mis and disinformation. So I think the bottom line is that we still have to love each other unconditionally, no matter where someone tells us that we came from, or because over here in our country, I'm in the Gambia now, but just picture me in what we call Turtle Island.
Mhm.
We were always open, you know, everyone. We had the Asians when they had their fleet, and there was a time when they had a mighty fleet, and they would come back and forth to the West Coast. We had the Africans, and most of them would come to Brazil and some to what we call the Caribbean islands. A few of them came up to where we were in North Africa, but we all were mixtures and mixing. Now, for
Mhm.
someone to get upset because I'm saying, well, we were there. We all started off as one, and as Pangea, maybe they don't understand what that is. And you could explain that to them. So I'm not being contrary to that. I'm simply saying that we, as Native Americans, we've had a particular task, and that is finding out the truth of all the lies that have been told us. Because everyone that looks like us ain't us. All skin ain't kin. We have folks that are like us and some folks that ain't. So we have to, shall we say, navigate that also. Because there are some folks that still want us to believe that we all came from Africa and we have no rights and we have no land and what they go back there. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, Shanice, I just
It-
wanted to say the important thing is to me, I think you have sometimes we have to go within and the information will come, as you know. We can't always think that someone telling us our truth, they may be telling their truth. So I believe in what's in me. That's what has helped me these years. I don't always follow what other people say. I try to find the information out for myself, and I think that's a right, for us to do that. That's why I worked in the library, and I've had a lot of opportunities to read a lot of things because when I lived in Alaska, I worked in the school library and the public library. They had
Yeah.
information there that was not in the lower 48s.
Mhm,
Yeah, we were
mhm.
Yes.
bombarded with something
That's
like
the
roots. Roots, Alex Haley. Most people don't know that he was a Naval Academy graduate. So he was in the military. They had him. They also supported him in writing the autobiography of Malcolm X and then The Roots. Now, that book itself, a lot of the information came from another book. That's why he was sued for plagiarizing and it was settled out of court. And as far as the Kunta Kinte family, we know the present ones, okay? They like anybody else, sunshine and shadow. You grease a palm, people say what they say. I do recall an African Muslim group that sent money to the Gambia because they were caught up in the Kunta Kinte thing. And there were folks that were fighting and squabbling over that money that Yahya Jammeh, the former president, had to come in and resolve that. Even today, you got some good ones and not so good ones. But we've had to live through that because a lot of folks think what they were told was true. And we were told a lot of things to separate us from who we are.
So, as you can hear, family, we're on a journey and we're all at, different parts of that timeline on that journey to discovery. And it's so important, isn't it, that we, from our perspective as Africans, get to know our roots, get to know the truth of our story, get to know what was misinformation, what was designed to confuse us, what was designed to deny us of our land, and the truth is that as African people, as melanated people, let's say as melanated people, we as melanated people are the original indigenous people of the world. Whichever
Mhm.
continent you go to, the original indigenous people are melanated people, whatever they want to call themselves. They are melanated people and the original people of every part of this globe. And that's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. But
Oh,
Dr.
also, I'd like
Joe,
to,
I'm gonna
yes,
I'm
ma'am.
gonna draw a line onto that now, but we can return to it and we should return to it because it's such an interesting conversation that we do need to have. I've heard a lot, well, not a lot. I've heard many Americans though say that, what you've said And so it was good to have the opportunities to have that kind of fleshed out a little bit.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
we are in your hands. So let me know how you'd like us to continue. Do you want us to continue to talk about, your
Yeah.
experience now in the Gambia, or maybe tease out a bit more of, whether we're the indigenous people or not, or where? How would you like us to go forward?
Well,
I don't want to cut
I'm
it.
feeling like I feel that my 10 years in the Gambia, that's like a decade. And by my nature, I like to continue to grow. I like to keep up with the times, right?
Yeah.
I can say that after I retired from my work as a library tech, that I've somewhat got away from the technology because I started focusing on health and nutrition because that's important. And a lot of people have very little knowledge of it at this time. So I really feel that I need to go back to the US, and not because, people saying it's a challenge, but I'm going there for a purpose. I want to be able to help the senior citizens. I want to connect with the young people because I haven't been really around them for the last 10 years. I want to know where they are and their thinking. I know that, with this social media and tech, what is it, TikTok, that's a big thing. My sister was saying she goes on there and they be really hashing it out, now about who we are, because we are in the age of the Aquarius. And in the age of the Aquarius, all information, as you know, has come forward. And when it's like that, it gives, I think, each individual an opportunity to know who I am, because there's no more lying to us and no more cheating and all the things that they've done to children and, dumbed us down. All that is over. We can now don't have to go to a job to work for someone. Now I can continue to create my own destiny, for my children, So that's where I'm headed now. I want to be able to
Oh, we've
and
got
work with
someone in the
young
chat that's saying, you don't have to return back to the USA. I will give you your own village free. You can build it into a town, a city with your own harbor. My uncle is living in Tangi. My great grandmother gave I. Oh, so there's someone busy in the chat who lives in Tangi, who's saying,
people.
we can give you land, you can build your own town, your own city. Why are
Well,
you
I can come
offering
back.
this as they're on their way out the door? But she said
Well,
she
we
can
can
come
come
back.
back. We
We
can come
Tangi,
back.
still,
get in touch. Drop your contact
we
details in the
still
chat
have, yeah, we
so
still
that
have
Bissy can get in
connections.
touch.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we it's about having land and home anywhere
Yeah,
you want to go, because that's
yeah,
how we can learn, right?
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's true that I can build here, and I do. I want a health food store here. When the time permits financially, one of my chefs, she's decided that she's not going to work for anyone. She's going to continue the spicy, tasty vegan, and I'm very
Oh.
grateful. So
How many chefs
financially,
have you trained in the
I've
years that you've
trained
been
probably
here?
over 40.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
wow.
will be
Yeah.
48 at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the week. We have our last three
Two.
certificates that we're
Yeah.
giving,
Mm-hmm.
two for
Oh,
6 weeks
wonderful.
and one for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what we have done is made sure that they vowed that whatever information they received or learned during their training, they
Mm-hmm.
would share it, not just
Yeah.
with their
And
family.
you're so beautiful because you were paying your chefs to learn as well, weren't you? You were giving them like
Stipends. Yes,
an
we did.
allowance.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean,
Because we don't
family,
know
this is such a generous couple that you're looking at here.
Yes.
What they've poured into
Yes.
the Gambia. I want you to share with us, a bit of what you've been pouring into the Gambia, into the people who you've been training, you know, that you've given so much, give the family a bit of a flavor of, what you've kind of sowed here in the Gambia while you've been here.
Well, we've had 9 years of the school, the institute. And
Mhm.
yes, it's true, we paid them stipends because we wanted them to be able to focus on learning. And while they're at the school, they're going to eat better. And when they eat better, like anything else, they're going to think better and look better. We had one woman, she told us that she had a guy not, that he said that he would marry her if she went through spicy, tasty vegan cuisine and learned how to cook. And sure enough,
He married
he
her.
married her.
You did.
And so the
Oh, they're
bottom
still
line
happily
is,
married. Oh.
yeah,
Yes.
the bottom line is if you are with someone and folks aren't eating the right food, the romance is not going to last long, nor is your relationship. And one of the things we wanted to point out as melanated people is that we're very different from the Europeans. And because of that, we should not be eating the same kind of diet. We don't have as many worms and parasites to break down the food that we eat. No. So if we're eating the English breakfast, with all of those concentrated fats and proteins, since we have more blood vessels, we have more of a chance for them to get clogged up. And we are going to have the blood going to our brain, which clicks into what? Stroke, heart attack. Part of what we have tried to do is to bring out the many different differences that some people are familiar with and many aren't. And as a result of that information that they're armed with, then they can start to basically carve out the type of diet, I would call it lifestyle. I don't like the word diet, the type of lifestyle that will accentuate, add more quality to their life. And I'm telling you, when you're feeling good, hey, all doors.
Well, Sister Shanice, remember there was a lady that came to our home a few days ago, and she was very ill.
Yeah.
And right away, I felt like I had something that I can share with her. So always keep this concoction. I don't know if you had an opportunity to try my pot full of the skins of the pineapple, the mangoes, the papayas, the dragon fruits. I keep all that in my refrigerator. I add cinnamon, I add all these things, oranges, just everything. So I had it in the refrigerator. So immediately I heated it up and I gave her a cup of it.
Yeah.
So she did go to the toilet and she came back. So I had blue cornmeal, and I had cornbread here. I gave her cornbread, I gave her some stew, I gave her some buckwheat groat, which I cook into like a grain, and I gave her salad. And I told her, and another drink. And she took it home that Saturday night. I called her Sunday evening. She sounded like another person.
Oh,
She was saying,
wow.
"Oh, I feel so much better." She said, "I came home, I drank another cup of that drink you gave me. I went to the toilet, I started eating the food, and she
Yeah.
was here today, and I gave her more food and that drink.
And she looked
She
so
looked
much
so much
like
better."
two different
Oh,
people.
wow.
Yeah, and that
Wow.
concoction,
Yeah.
basically we had one of the herbalists come over because
Yeah.
Mama, she wasn't
He was a
feeling well.
Gambian. He's a Gambian.
Gambia? Yeah, Mama wasn't feeling well, and so she
Oh,
took,
you're talking to me? Oh, okay. I got sick.
Oh.
okay. So Mama put together her, what was it? It was your
It was a
citric
citrus
drink
drink.
and her herbal drink, and then she used some of the herbs and spices here, like she's talking about. Well, that herbalist, he took it to, it was Nigeria at the time where they had a conference
In
of medical
2019.
doctors, the herbalists, and traditional healers. And part of that, those 15 Western African states, they were looking for something that could help any of their people that they could back. And when he presented that, they did their research and they were ready to go on it. But then we had the Coben adventure.
Mhm.
However, the president of Madagascar, he used it, he put in one of their local herbs and gave it to his people free of charge, and they had no challenges. But it was a president at that time who said that the World Health Organization had asked him to put something in it. He didn't want in it. And when he refused, he said there were two attempts on his life, and he was able to survive. But our attorney at the time said, look, you guys are helping people all over the world. You need to help us. So
Mm-hmm.
we took it upon ourselves, at least I did. We graduated from different law schools. And I said, you draft me the letter, I'll send it to the people, and we'll go from there. Well, since we didn't hear from anyone at the time, we just made sure that we could get it out to everyone. And so
Yeah.
anybody that wants it, we got the
There you
link to it,
go,
and we can
family.
put it together.
Please do drop your contact details in the chat so that family who want to get in touch with you can do
Oh,
so. I'd also
put it
love Bissy to get in touch with you. Bissy, who's offering you your own village in Tangi that was, left by their great grandmother.
Oh,
You
wonderful.
have been doing so much in the Gambia, trained up all those chefs. And yeah, I saw the woman, you were talking about who came to your home that day. She was very, very, very unreal. Well, I was very concerned about her. I spoke to her,
Yes.
one of her close friends, and said, have you been in touch? Get in touch. She's not well. She's very unwell. So it's good to hear that within a day or so of taking your concoction, that
Yes,
she's not,
it's
and
great.
she was saying that she'd been unwell for a little while, well over a week or so. She could hardly
Yeah.
walk when we saw
Mm-hmm.
her that day.
That's right.
And she was very weak
And
and
it
talking.
was
I was like,
She
wow.
was full of inflammation. It was full of inflammation. When she was throwing up, that's the
Yeah,
inflammation and worms. You have to get
wow.
those things out of your body to feel better. And a
Yeah,
lot of people, they're not really aware that the worms, they take over your PA system.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean, you can actually transition out of here if you got a lot of that in your body. So that's what I really believe in is getting the food and the drinks that's
And so
going to
your
detox you.
concoction was killing the worms, killing the
Yes,
parasites,
yes.
and yeah, getting
And
rid of it out of your
and,
body.
and
So we
also and
thought,
also here in
sorry,
the Gambia,
go ahead.
also here in the Gambia, they have the best superfoods ever. They have like I have the powdered baobab. I put it
Yeah,
in a glass. I add the moringa. I add the oranjo, which is the hibiscus. I add cinnamon. I go into zinc. I add what is it? Black seed oil. I put
wow,
everything in that, and then I put the concoction and the water. And every
yeah,
morning, that's what we drink. And
wow,
everyone should be able, and even Dr. Sala, who's here in the Gambia, um,
yeah,
in the Colony area, I gave him a large bottle of it. He told me
yeah.
5 years ago, he said, this drink pulls the chromosomes together. So
Mm,
it's and that's because I got sick at 19. And when every 10 years, your body changes. What I ate in my 60s, I'm working on the 70s, where I have to make sure I have these drinks.
yeah.
I even have this silica drink. I drink that all by 2 o'clock. That's when I eat my first meal, 2 p.m. Yeah, and I
Oh,
do it
wow.
every day.
Yeah,
Sometime I could go in.
yeah,
Today I ate at 4:30 because I had guests, people in and out, and I was feeling kind of like I gotta eat. But every time I wanted to eat, I had to go this way. But because of the preparation of every day, eating and drinking the same drink, it really, and my calcium and my magnesium, and I have to send to the UK to get that. That's
mm,
another challenge too.
wow,
It
yeah,
costs me more money to fly it in. Whereas if I'm
wow,
in San Francisco, all I
yeah.
need to do is drive, just a few miles to the health food store and they have everything there. I don't have to worry about flying it in and paying millions as we spent here in the Gambia.
We should be growing it here. We need to be growing all the superfoods here. Maybe
Yeah.
that's something that could be done on that land that you're being offered.
Mm.
Quickly jumping over to the chat, I want to thank you all for your comments that's happening in the chat there. A couple of people said that they visited the Gambia, a couple who are looking to visit soon. Someone was saying, oh, I'm visiting the Gambia. Is there somewhere that they can stay in the Gambia? Oh, there are many places that you can definitely stay
Yes.
in the Gambia. Yes, and Muffin says yes. He never wrote roots. That's probably Alex Haley, that the story that you was telling us about. C3 Naboni, I'm going to Gambia end of next month. Can I stay with you? They're leaving the Gambia now. They'll be gone.
And
They'll
we're
be
coming
gone.
back.
We're
We're
coming
coming
back.
But
back.
they are
Oh
coming
yeah,
back.
we'll
We're
come
going to come
back.
back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah, we're
we'll
just
hear that.
going because our family, we have to see the grandchildren. They're saying that they haven't seen us for a good 7 or 8 years. So, they're growing up now. So we need to spend a little time with the family.
And we can't get the type of money we need here to do the things we like to do.
Exactly.
So we have to go back. I'm looking
Mm,
at having a recycling center here, centers, one
mm,
that is green or eco-friendly. And
mhm,
just by cleaning up all that trash, there will be a transformation. But
mm,
before that can happen, there has to be an uplifting of the consciousness. That is why
mm,
I use the healthy, wealthy, and wise. And that's basically using two principles. One is gratitude. The more you give thanks for what you have, the more you're given to be thankful for. And the other
yeah,
is forgiveness. You cannot
yeah.
truly heal unless you forgive, because
Mhm,
that's on
mhm.
a cellular level. And when you forgive,
Absolutely.
it's like lifting weight off your shoulders, and you
Yes, yes.
rise in
Yeah.
consciousness and you see
Mhm,
things from a different perspective. So, along with that, and having it where it's cooperative, in other
mhm.
words, everybody that's working gets a piece of the pie. So you don't
Yeah.
have that challenge with folks stealing, because when
Mm.
you steal, you steal from yourself.
Yes, yes. Give me your email address, please, that you would like to put out to the audience. So, should anyone want a copy of your book or your
Yes,
concoction
it's
or offer you land or, thank you for the work
yes,
that you've been doing in the
yeah, that
Gambia,
would be
what
great.
email address should they use?
It's spicy, SPICY, tasty
SPICY.
T,
TAS.
tasty
Mm-hmm.
TASTY,
Mm-hmm.
vegan,
Mm-hmm.
VEGAN at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. There we go. I've
And they
just
can also
posted
check
that.
out our YouTube
That's
channel.
spicy, tasty, vegan at gmail.com. That's the email address, family, that you could use should you want to get in touch with Mama Nasir or Dr. Joe and,
Yes,
find out about how you can get a copy of their best-selling book or get a copy of Mama Nasir's concoction, one of her many
yeah.
concoctions. Sounds
And it's on
amazing.
YouTube.
It's
It's
on
on the
YouTube
YouTube.
as
You can
well.
you can
So if
go
you want a
to
link to their YouTube channel, go ahead, please. Yeah.
we don't have the link. We haven't, yeah,
On YouTube, it's spicy, tasty vegan cuisine.
and the
There we go.
Spicy, tasty vegan cuisine. And in
Yeah.
that, you could just
the
put that in and put in the concoction and it will show up. Or
the
you can just go through. I think we have about 250 videos. Everything is free. Our principle
Wow.
is the more you give, the more you receive. And we are
Yeah.
happy, thankful, and grateful to be abundant and to be loving
Well, you know
and to
what?
be
I've
caring.
been to your home and I've seen you in action with chefs, young Gambian women who you've been training. I've seen them, getting the training from yourselves. And I know you've had the
yeah,
certification ceremony where you've awarded them with certificates as well. And I know that you have been financing these training courses yourself and that
yes,
you have even, financed the young people so that they could do the courses. So that much I do know, that you are a couple who have been giving. You've given so much. And I think part of the reason why you're going back is because you've given your all, you've given all your money away, given everything away. You gotta
yeah. We
go
have to
back
go
and
back and
get some
rebuild it.
more.
Hey,
Some
but
more and come back.
there's no limit. There's
Given
no limit in
everything.
source. In
Yeah,
source, there's no
that's
limit.
right. The more you give, the more you get back. And I know that there's a lot waiting for you in America so that you can earn again and return. And when you return, what do you hope to do on your return to the
Well,
Gambia?
first of all, we like to be there with our dog Sheba.
Yes.
And we have a
Yes.
GoFundMe for that because our money is the way it is. But
Yeah,
we could not leave our dog Sheba here.
I know,
She's
I
been
know.
our family,
Hmm.
our emotional support, our protector.
Hmm.
Because when we were in the Colony, we were burglarized 3 times. And you haven't really lived a certain way until you wake up and somebody's in the bedroom with you, and you know it's not your wife because she's next to
Yeah,
you in the bed.
that's right.
Oh.
So Sheba has
Did you
protected us
actually
from
catch
that.
someone? Did you actually
Well,
catch someone?
well,
Yeah, they were in our
they were
bedroom.
in the bedroom. I saw them
We were in the
and
mosquito
in
net.
the mosquito net. And the first thing I thought was, I can't be looking like no fool trying to fumble with the zipper to rescue myself.
So he
So I
thought,
just said, flame on. And yeah, I just went through it with my fingers, grabbed my machete, and chased homeboy. He left his shoes. When I ran out the door, one of our guards pointed to the wrong direction.
that's right.
So I went that way, and my neighbor was looking for him too. It was 2 guys. And then I said, wait a minute. Here I am
Really?
about
Yeah,
3:30 in the morning in the
Mhm.
middle of the street, Senegambia
yeah.
Street, butt naked, birthday suit, with
Oh
so I said, nah, it's
no!
time to change things.
Yeah,
So that's when we moved.
and we got Sheba, and she's been with
Oh,
us, it'll be 5 years in February.
Yeah,
oh,
so if there's
oh.
anyone that wants to
It's
give
been
us some well
protecting you.
wishes, good
Yeah,
thoughts,
Yes,
and if you
yeah,
have some, money, cool.
yeah,
But yes,
yeah,
we got together and we are dealing with us. Yeah, we're dealing with some stuff, girl. We're talking about something that has been codified. Once you
yeah.
have folks that have been doing wrong so long, they consider it a standard. And
Well,
unless
you
someone
know what? It
told
was
you,
different. I'm hearing under the Yaya Jemmy days. It's now that people are becoming a bit emboldened. I mean, I did see something recently, so I don't want to put out the wrong information. Gambia is still meant to be one of the safest places to live in the world. I think it's the fourth safest country as well. I'm told in Africa, so it is very safe. But you know, like everywhere, sometimes poverty does breed people who decide that they're going to take things from other people. I'm just so
yes,
glad that you weren't hurt at all in the process and that you managed to get back home butt naked before you found
yeah.
yourself.
And it was because it was during that pandemic in 2020 when that occurred. That
Ooh,
was
yeah,
when people were, no
they
more
were losing their
tourists
job, no
coming, and
tourists.
it really did hurt. Yeah, when we came here, it was considered at the time the safest, but because
Yeah,
of this, the 2020 situation, we're
yeah,
getting through it. It will
yeah.
get back to that. It's gonna get back
Yes,
to that.
yes, indeed, and we're
Yeah.
getting back there. So certainly won't want to put anybody off from coming to the Gambia. I would encourage everybody, if you haven't been, to come and visit. If you're looking
Yeah.
for somewhere to go on holiday, come and spend your dollars, spend your pounds, spend your euros here in the Gambia. You know, the people are very welcoming, they're very helpful, very supportive, and you'll have a wonderful time here. There's a growing American diaspora and British diaspora and Jamaican diaspora community here, people,
Right.
and you'll love it. So if someone would love to donate, because Kay Manti is saying, I would love to donate to Sheba's return to the USA, because you have
oh,
a
blessings,
GoFundMe out
blessings,
there.
blessings.
Where can they find the GoFundMe for
The
Sheba?
link. We have to send
It's
it's
GoFundMe,
go
Yes.
and you would just be put in my name, Gregory Bledsoe, and it should pop up. We can send you the link.
yeah.
Let me see. Oh,
We
well, I
can
need
send
to
you the
post
link.
it in the chat right now, if possible. I
Okay.
think
Okay.
let me look
Well,
to
we
see
need
if
to
you
know how
sent
to
it
get
to
No,
on.
me.
we don't know. We can't.
We need to know how to get on the chat
You
here.
have to
I need
go
to
on,
leave you a
you have to go
message.
on
We put
YouTube.
more.
Let me
The
Let's see,
see.
more.
more record
Um,
notes. No.
Does anybody have the
Uh,
link? If anyone's watching and you have the link, please
so what?
do post it.
I can tell you what it
BLQ
is.
Creative, you know, no, they're not fake people at all. There's someone in the chat who's been very derogatory and rude. You know, they're not fake at all. I know these people personally, and there are hundreds of us here in the Gambia who know them personally, and they are as real as you see them. They have a
Oh, well,
heart of
thank you.
gold, and
Yeah.
that's been all
Thank
of
you.
our experience. You
Yeah.
And
can't outgive these people. They've given a lot. They've given so much of themselves. Yeah, so they have a GoFundMe, out there for
Yes,
their
we
dog
do.
Sheba, who
Yeah.
they want to take back to the USA with them. And how is the GoFundMe going, by the way?
Well, it's going very well. We are so thankful, the efforts of so many people all over the world.
Yeah,
We've got, as it says, I'm looking at it right now, we've
yeah.
got
Send it to me.
89%
Yeah.
of our goal. Now, what
Oh,
I have,
brilliant.
it's GoFundMe.
Yeah, send me the link,
Yes,
please. Send it to me in my
ma'am.
WhatsApp and I will
Okay,
copy
I'll
it
do
from
that
there.
right
Please
now.
go ahead and read it at the same
Yeah, send
time.
it to the
But
I'll
WhatsApp.
send it
send it to
to
you right
me.
now.
Okay. Sharifa says, I would feel happier knowing the children was going to the Gambia to visit their grandparents rather than the other way around. Oh, the America is not safe right now. Yeah, it's so hard. I know that there are many, families like yourselves, couples like yourselves
Yeah.
that are here in the Gambia, and all they want is for their children to come,
Yeah.
And some children do come, but some children just will not come. What
Yeah.
has your experience been trying to get your children to come?
Well, my sister, yeah, the sons, I don't know, they're working. My oldest son and his wife is from Dominican. He did go to Dominican, but he hasn't come to the Gambia. And then my second son, I paid for his trip here for his 40th birthday. Well,
Yeah.
he waited too late in March. He couldn't come. And the
Oh,
youngest son, he and his wife, they're working all the time. They're YouTubers, they do the food program where they go and eat different foods. But I believe that when I go home, I
mm,
can bring them back. I can bring
yeah.
them. My sister,
Dragon
she
if you
visit
have
my
to.
youngest.
Send me the link, please, Dr. Joe.
Oh,
We're
I
at
did.
the
I
top
sent
of
it to
the
your WhatsApp.
we're at the top of the hour now. I've not got it. Make sure you send it to my UK number,
Is it the
please.
web?
Yeah,
Is it?
I
Send
sent
it
it
to
to
my
her
UK one.
He
right
sent
there.
it to
I sent it to her WhatsApp.
your WhatsApp. It's sent to your
Right,
WhatsApp.
okay.
And I could give
Not
it to
come
you.
through.
I can
Yeah,
give
go
you the
ahead.
number.
Yeah,
The
go ahead and
number
give people
is,
the number, please.
okay, it's HTTPS, with the colon, two slashes, GoFundMe /
Dot.
85, the letter C,
Yeah.
223
3 F1.
F1. So 85C 223
F1.
F1.
And that's
Okay, let
GoFundMe.
me write that down in the chat. So give us the GoFundMe number, please. So it's
Okay, it's
GoFundMe.
GoFund.me
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
/
Mm-hmm.
85, the letter C,
85, the letter C,
2233,
2233.
the letter F, and the number 1.
Uh-huh. Okay, all right. So that's gofund.me / and the number is 85 small c 2233 F1. Okay, let's post
Now,
that, family. If you can give and
GoFundMe.
support, please do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, don't worry about a scam because GoFundMe has a provision where you get 100% of any donation within a year if there's any fraud. But believe me, I mean, I'm 73 and I ain't got time to be lying because I'm too close to staying in heaven and I ain't getting kicked out. Okay?
Thank you so, so much for joining me today. Can you believe the 2 hours have flown by so quickly? Thank you for
Oh, you
sharing your
haven't heard.
wonderful stories. It's just been so interesting listening to the both of you. And I'm sure the audience, has found your experience here in the Gambia as interesting as I have.
Yes.
I would love to have you back on the show again, maybe while you're in America. Just let us know what
Yes.
life is like because you've been away for 10
Yes.
years. What is it like?
Yes.
What is it going to be like on your
Yes.
return? I wonder. I would love to hear
Right.
from you. So I want to thank
What's
everybody for joining us in today's conversation where you've been hearing from Dr. Joe and Mama Nasira
look?
about their experience of living in the Gambia. And as you're hearing, They will be back. They will be returning. Their 10 years here has been 10 years of giving and helping to build the Gambia and sharing their knowledge of food, concoctions and cuisines. So it's a story of success. It's a great story of success. Thank you for sharing it with us here. So everyone in the
Thank
chat,
you.
thank you so much for sharing your stories. Sorry, sharing your comments, your thoughts and opinions in the chat. We appreciate love you. All being well,
love you
next
too.
strong, I hope to have another couple who are in the Gambia here on the platform. So another story for you, family.
Yes,
Get ready, get ready. Take care. Wish you all the best. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Stay strong, and we'll see you on your return. And we'll try and catch up with you at some point in the US as well. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now. Bye for
Bye
now.
for
Bye,
now.
family.